We begin with breaking news tonight. The death of the voice of the Dodgers, Vin Scully, has passed away at the age of 94 at his home in Hidden Hills. Good evening. I'm Christine Devine.
And I'm Alex Michelson. Scully led Dodger broadcasts for 67 years. He may have been the most beloved man in all of Los Angeles.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday night to you, wherever you may be.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
She is gone! In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
No doubt, if you grew up in Los Angeles, Vin Scully's voice has been the soundtrack to your life. Vincent Edward Scully, born in the Bronx in 1927. Early on, he knew he had a love for baseball.
October the 2nd, 1936, a little redheaded kid was walking home from school, and I went by a Chinese laundry, and the line score of a baseball game was pasted on the window, and it showed Game 2 of the World Series with the Yankees beating the Giants 18-4. As that little redheaded kid looked and saw, oh wow, the poor Giants. That was my reaction. And so I became not only a Giants fan, but a big fan of baseball.
Vin loved baseball so much he even played on his high school team at Fordham Prep and then played center field in college. In 1950, he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers with broadcaster Red Barber. Back then, he wasn't expected to last very long.
It was a 1-month contract. They took me to Vero Beach. And at the end of the month, they could have fed me to the alligators. I mean, it was just a 1-month deal.
Barber left the Dodgers in 1953 over a salary dispute, and then Vin took over. The man on that 1-month contract would be with the Dodgers for 67 seasons, from Brooklyn to L.A., from Ebbets Field to the L.A. Coliseum.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Vin Scully speaking to you from the Los Angeles Coliseum as opening day has finally come to Southern California.
Finally, at Dodger Stadium.
She is gone!
And in between, some of the most magical moments in baseball history. A World Series win for the Dodgers in 1955. A perfect game from Sandy Koufax.
Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. A perfect game.
A record-shattering moment when Hank Aaron passed Babe Ruth for the all-time home run record in 1974.
Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone. What a marvelous moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for Atlanta and the state of Georgia. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol.
Vin was doing the World Series in 1986 when the Boston Red Sox saw one slip away.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
And maybe the most memorable home run in World Series history, Kirk Gibson in Game 1 of the 1988 World Series.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
Along with the great moments, Vin could even make a boring game entertaining.
Johnny Gomes. Let's start when he was 12. He was doing work on his grandmother's house, and a hired hand showed up with a wolf on a leash. So he walked up to the wolf, and the man hollered at him, "No, it's a real wolf. Don't pet it." The 2-1 pitch in, well, the man ties up the wolf, goes around the corner to mend the fence, and Johnny goes back to the wolf, saying something like, "Oh, I'll talk to him, and it'll be great." And the wolf attacks him. And the base hit by Johnny Gomes. So a 1-out single left by the wolf man.
And he picked up a helpful skill in later years. Did you know Vin was a lip reader?
That's fertilizer, says Kemp over and over. That is fertilizer.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. What? What you do to me? What you do to me? So one saying what you do to me and the other saying don't look at me. The Dodgers are a winning organization, and KTTV is very much a part of that winning tradition.
The Dodgers were on Fox 11, KTTV, for a few years. Vin even made this promo reel for us back in the 80s.
Dodgers and KTTV.
But it was those legendary calls we all remember. And Vin may have saved his best for last. In his last season, his last game at Dodger Stadium, Charlie Culberson gave Vin's career a storybook ending.
0-1 to Charlie. Swung on a high fly ball to deep left field. The Dodger bench empties. Would you believe a home run? And the Dodgers have clinched the division and will celebrate on schedule.
But it wasn't over. Vin had a curtain call prepared just for the fans.
I wanted to try and express my appreciation to all the players, God bless them, and to all you folks here in the ballpark. It's a very, very modest thing. I sang this for my wife. It was a loving gesture. You know the song, The Wind Beneath My Wings.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be.
A week later, Vin signed off from San Francisco. 80 years to the day he fell in love with baseball.
To share in your passion and love for this great game. My family means everything to me, and I'll now be able to share life's experiences with them.
Family, including wife Sandy. Vin always joked when asked if he'd return for another season that it was Sandy who'd need to give her blessing. And boy, was he blessed. Honors? Vin racked them up during his career: Baseball Hall of Fame, star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Presidential Medal of Freedom, his own street, Vin Scully Way, leading right into Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers even renamed their press box the Vin Scully Press Box. We would see Vin again. The Dodgers inducted him into the Ring of Honor.
Let's add Vin to the Ring of Honor.
And then at the 2017 World Series, he was to throw out the first pitch, and in typical Scully fashion, provided some great theater.
I can't do it. I apologize. I'm really sorry. But like all the managers in this game, I'm going to have to go to the bullpen. I need a left-hander to come out here and help me. Is there a left-hander down here? Oh, my gosh. Fernando Valenzuela.
Vin gave himself the final word when he signed off from his final broadcast with the Dodgers in San Francisco.
May God give you for every storm a rainbow, for every tear a smile, for every care a promise, and a blessing in each trial. For every problem life seems a faithful friend to share, for every sigh a sweet song, and an answer for each prayer. You and I have been friends for a long time, but I know in my heart that I've always needed you more than you've ever needed me. And I'll miss our time together more than I can say. But you know what? There will be a new day and eventually a new year. And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball. So this is Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon wherever you may be.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
What a life well lived, a career well done, and an honor to have met him a time or two over the decades.
You know, he was 94.
Yeah.
You knew this was coming.
Yes.
But yet, I'm still really emotional. I know so many people are in tears thinking about, you know, baseball has such a special way of bringing generations together, bringing you together with your father or your grandfather.
Because you and your father go.
And got to meet him together as well. And you also think about his loved one, Sandy, who we talked about there.
His wife.
Sandy died in 2021 of ALS, and afterwards, Vin had talked with Bill Plaschke about the fact that he was ready to meet Sandy again one day, and I think he was ready to let go at this point.
That kind of took us all aback when we first heard that, like, what? But then think about it, to have lived a life with someone you love so deeply and to have them gone, and to be 94. As I say, we have to let people go and let them go to God, is what I say.
What a gift that he's given all of us over the years. And we've got a lot more to say throughout the next hour here on Fox 11.
We're going to stay with this story. We have live team coverage tonight. Fox 11's Laura Diaz is taking a deeper dive on Scully's massive impact. And Coco McAvoy's live near Dodger Stadium with fans.
But let's go to Chief Sports Anchor Kyle Kreska with more on the reaction that's pouring in tonight, including from the team itself.
Yeah, when you heard the news, it just got you right to the heart. You know, it really does. It makes you feel so emotional because what Vin Scully meant to so many of us growing up and throughout the years. Vin Scully will forever be the voice and, of course, the heartbeat of the Dodgers. Tonight, the team is reacting after losing a legend. Dodgers president and CEO Stan Kasten released a statement saying, in part, quote, "We have lost an icon. The Dodgers' Vin Scully was one of the greatest voices in all of sports. He was a giant of a man, not only as a broadcaster, but as a humanitarian." He goes on to say, he loved people, he loved life, he loved baseball and the Dodgers, and he loved his family. His voice will always be heard and etched in our minds forever, end quote. Now, just moments ago, I spoke with longtime Dodger great Steve Garvey and asked him to describe Vin Scully's relationship with the fans of Los Angeles. Here's what he told me.
I can answer that with a question. Is there any other voice that typifies Los Angeles or Southern California? And it was Vin. And to have Vin's voice, and I think it's a tribute to the Dodger organization and Lon Rosen and everyone that once Vin retired, that they realized how important it was to have his voice. And as you come into the stadium, you hear his voice, you know, talking. And it's almost kind of an exhale. It's now I'm home. We're at Dodger Stadium. I hear Vin's voice. He may not be in the booth, but he's with us in spirit.
Very well said. Vin Scully was 94 years old. We will have much more reaction coming up in sports, more from Steve, and we'll hear from Dodgers players and manager Dave Roberts, who just wrapped up a victory tonight in San Francisco.
You have got to share your personal story when you came here to Fox 11.
It's one of the great moments in my career and personal life because, again, growing up and becoming a sports broadcaster on the East Coast, as I was traveling back and forth to Syracuse from my home, I would look for Vin on the radio because it was a long drive, and I would find a game that he was calling because he felt like such a friend, the way that he communicated. And it kept you company the entire trip. You felt like you had a friend talking with you. We had this ongoing conversation, and it was wonderful. And so when I came here, it's been about a year now, I was here at work one day, and my phone rang, and I didn't recognize the number. I answered the phone, and it said, "Hi, Kyle, this is Vin Scully."
He personally called you?
He called, and he said, "I want to welcome you back to Los Angeles. I wish you the best. It's a fantastic city. You're going to have great success here." And I just can't tell you how much that meant to me and will always mean to me.
One of the most memorable calls of your life.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. So I'm so blessed to have had that chance and that opportunity, and I will miss him so much. You think about how Vin Scully told the stories of our lives. In the piece that you just narrated, Alex, all of those stories, especially if you're a sports fan, you lived them, and he was the narrator of your life.
And he did it solo, too.
And it was,
he didn't have a broadcast partner, unlike almost everybody else that broadcasts today, and he was able to keep people's attention for 4 or 5 hours at a time. Kyle, we'll talk more with you throughout the hour. We want to talk now about the fans. Dodger fans are in mourning. Of course, so many generations touched by Vin Scully.
Coco McAvoy is live in Echo Park with more. Coco?
Yes, a very sad and emotional night. Obviously, a huge loss for Los Angeles. We are outside of Dodger Stadium, where a number of people have gathered here to mourn the loss of Vin Scully. Of course, this is Vin Scully Avenue. You can see that there's a lot of people gathered out here in their Dodger gear to mourn Vin Scully, but there's also a beautiful memorial that has been put up here outside of this sign here to honor Vin Scully. Let's show you some video now. Of course, as we've all been talking about, the world is mourning Vin Scully, the beloved broadcaster, but some of the people who are grieving the most are Dodgers fans. The Hall of Fame broadcaster died at the age of 94 tonight. Dodgers fans and baseball fans in general know and love Scully's storytelling during his 67-year run as the voice for LA baseball. We went to Shortstop Bar near Dodger Stadium and we spoke to fans about this huge loss. Take a listen to what they had to say.
Pretty sad story. He's one of since I grew up watching him as a Dodger fan.
His legacy and him being a legend and all that, that means a lot even for us as like staff, because we depend on the Dodger fans and we love the Dodgers. It's sad to lose a legend like he is. Even the street up there is Vin Scully Avenue. So yeah, it's a sad day.
As a baseball fan, it's sad because he was really a student of the game. He loved the game, and it seemed like he loved the Dodgers a lot, too. I don't really see how people are going to move forward. I mean, I guess they're going to move forward. It's sad. It's really sad. I mean, he was 94, and he seemed like he had a really wonderful life, but I don't know. Just all the greats seem to like they're passing away recently. So, I mean, rest in peace and love and light to his family.
Definitely sending light and love to his family, as that fan just said. And you're taking a live look now at this sign here. You can see that there is a baseball standing on top of the Vin and Vin Scully Avenue, and it says LA loves Vin. And that could not ring more true tonight as fans are mourning this huge loss for LA baseball, but for baseball in general. We keep seeing fans show up here, and as you can see, it is emotional for fans as well as they take in this great loss. We've seen a lot of fans coming here to Dodger Stadium, not only crying, but also bringing flowers, also bringing the balloons, the candles, anything to remember this legend here. And we're going to continue to talk to fans throughout the evening, and I'll be joining you again in just a few minutes at around 10:20 with more from fans. Back to you.
Coco McAvoy, thank you. Back in May, I spoke with another all-time great sports broadcaster, Bob Costas, on our interview show, The Issue Is. Bob worked with Vin and considered him a mentor and a friend. Vin called Bob the greatest broadcaster that he'd ever seen. I asked Bob what he learned from Vin.
What did you learn from Vin?
Well, I think I learned from Vin what Vin learned from Red Barber: preparation. Vin liked to quote the great actor Sir Laurence Olivier. You have to have the humility to prepare, but then the confidence to bring it off. Not everything you prepare comes to bear on a broadcast. You don't know. You prepare many times over what you'll actually use, but you want all of it there just in case. And then when you've been around a while, it isn't just the things you specifically prepared for that particular event. A lot of it is what's in the back of your head because of what you've seen and experienced. Think of Vin toward the end of his glorious career, and something would happen in a game, and it would just remind him of something that Leo DeRocher said, or that Jackie Robinson did, or that Don Drysdale or Sandy Koufax did. That's something that no one, no matter how good, unless they've been around all that time, can bring to bear. And Vin, of course, it wasn't just local. Obviously, his greatest fame is with the Dodgers, but he did the Game of the Week and a lot of World Series on both radio and television for NBC. He also did football for CBS, and he was great at that because he was great at everything. He was great at golf, but there's never been a better baseball broadcaster than Vin Scully.
You know, one of the coolest things, Christine, was being at the press box, covering a game there when Vin was broadcasting. And he'd walk through the press box and said hi to everybody, everybody that worked there, all these, you know, crusty old cynical reporters who were in there. And then all of them were in awe at Vin. No matter how old they were, no matter how many years they'd been around, he was the greatest. And everybody at Dodger Stadium was in awe of him. And he was so kind to everybody there. One of the classiest people that I've ever seen.
And thinking, too, we just were at the MLB All-Star Game, covering it live there on the field. And I have the program. I went to go up my office and see what they had about Vin here. And here was a really nice profile picture here. And they just had some quotes from him. And just such a part of Dodger baseball, the league itself. And what an icon here to have something like this.
Yeah, and now we want to talk about somebody who Vin covered both as a player and as a manager.
Yes, and just a moment ago after tonight's game, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts reflected on what Vin Scully meant to him.
I think if I could put it in one word, he was a gentleman. And that means a lot. And so, yeah, he was the voice of baseball, but how he interacted with fans, how he made baseball games come to life, he was always a gentleman. And that's something that, you know, I strive every day. And I think our players take that characteristic on from Vin. So, again, I'm just so proud to say that he was a friend and he's family.
Yeah, what a role model for so many players, all of us, right?
Encourage many of us to get into broadcasting.
Yes, and Fox 11's Laura Diaz is also a true Dodger fan, goes to a lot of games. She's digging deeper into Scully's illustrious history.
She's live in Studio City tonight. Laura.
Well, of course, the Dodgers are such a storied franchise that they actually employ a team historian full time. And it's times like this when we turn to him to give context and perspective as to what we are all feeling in our hearts at the loss of this great man.
It's a time to celebrate because the Dodgers come to Los Angeles in 1958, and Buzzy Babasi said that Vin Scully was the person most responsible for teaching people in Southern California about baseball. Even if you didn't like the Dodgers, you loved listening to Vinny on the radio. You loved the stories. You loved the voice. And he just became part of your everyday life. But everybody that knows the Vin Scully story knows that he was a Giants fan as a kid. And he's walking home from school and the Yankees are winning 18-4. He feels sorry, even though they're the National League champions in the World Series, he feels sorry for the underdog. And for the longest time, he's a Giants fan. And 80 years to that day, the Giants threw such a big party for him in 2016. So yes, this is the day that we all dreaded because we also dreaded his retirement. Now this is kind of like the other shoe dropping. But I think he would just want us to smile and think of all those teams, the highs and the lows and everything that comes with a baseball season, and look at all the people that he touched along the way.
Such wonderful memories that we all have, and I know you've been talking about it for quite some time now. But his eloquence as a broadcaster was unparalleled. He was poetic in his delivery, and I think that he put into words what we all wished we could. We watched with our eyes, we loved the game, but Vinny had the ability to express it in a way like no other. Laura Diaz reporting live from Studio City. I will have more on the great love story that existed between Vin Scully and his wife later on in this broadcast.
Yeah, what a love story. And such a love also between Vin and another iconic broadcaster, Jaime Jarrín, who Laura has been so close with over the years. The Dodgers so fortunate to have the two longest tenured broadcasters ever, both of them working for the Dodgers, Vin doing English, Jaime doing the Spanish broadcasts. He is in our thoughts and prayers tonight as he mourns his friend.
Yeah, both of them very amazing men that we've had a chance to meet. Yeah.
We have more coverage tonight on the big story, the death of Dodger voice Vin Scully.
There is some other news to get to. Coming up, we're going to talk one-on-one with the liquor store owner who's back to work after taking the law into his own hands when armed robbers stormed his shop. He's become something of a local hero in his community.
But we go to break with a live picture from Dodger Stadium, which of course is at Vin Scully Avenue. Fans there are gathering. Our coverage continues after this.
We've been doing this a long time. We've seen thousands of auto accident cases. Between the freeways and rush hour traffic, California's roads can be a dangerous place to drive. People get injured every day. In cases of serious injury, remember, your lawyer matters. Your lawyer matters to the insurance company. Your lawyer matters to the jury. And let's face it, your lawyer matters to the result. Choose the law firm with the reputation and experience to win your case. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
If you want to sell your house fast, Bye Bye House will immediately pay cash for your home. Any house, any condition. Bye Bye House takes the time, stress, and inconvenience out of selling a home. There's no obligation. We look at the house and make a cash offer on the spot. Plus, there are no agents or open houses, no fees or commissions, and no repairs needed. Even problem properties are no problem for Bye Bye House. Call or visit us online at buybuyhouse.com.
I was in a car accident, and I knew I needed to hire a good lawyer. So I called Larry H. Parker.
I took Carolina's case, but unfortunately, before it got to trial, she got involved in another accident.
It was terrible. My injuries from my second accident aggravated the injuries from my first.
The insurance companies, they were nasty. They tried to blame the injuries from the second accident against the first.
Mitchell got me way more than I expected from both accidents.
When we say we'll fight for you, we mean it.
I'm accident attorney Sweet James. Getting seriously injured in an accident can be life-changing. At Sweet James Accident Attorneys, we help hundreds of clients get the medical care they need and recover millions of dollars each and every month. If you or someone you love has ever hurt in an accident, call us for a free consultation. You won't pay a dime until we win. Let Sweet James be by your side to turn your setback into your comeback.
America, home of the free. Free is our favorite word.
2 treadmills.
Like buy one, get one free. We get it.
We're not doing that.
I'm just saying,
You're
this
gonna
is like,
have to.
it's the best decision of my life.
That's why at Morgan & Morgan, our fee is free. That means you don't pay anything unless we win your case. Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan.
Let's go!
ForThePeople.com.
Prepare for success this school year with furniture and accessories from Jerome's. Function and style at Jerry's price? That's an easy A. Like our comfortable Bristol sofa, perfect for small spaces, just $298. That's $298. Or get our Dakota Queen upholstered bed with 2 nightstands and a mattress, all for just $597. And get our Allegro desk for an incredible $98. Shop these great values and more in stock and ready to deliver right away. Only at Jerome's.
An update on a story we first told you about last night. The 80-year-old business owner in Norco who shot an armed man who was about to rob him.
Tonight we hear from the store owner in his own words about that frightening confrontation. Fox 11's Gina Silva spoke with Craig Cope.
As soon as he pointed his gun directly at me, I'm not waiting any longer. I fired.
2 days after taking on 4 armed robbers, 80-year-old Craig Cope is back at work at Norco Market and Liquor. Were you ever afraid?
No. I didn't have time to be afraid. It was all fast. I mean, literally from the time they got out of that car to where they came in was at most 10 seconds.
The attempted robbery happened on early Sunday morning. Investigators say 4 men in a stolen vehicle with stolen weapons backed into the parking lot.
Pulled over to here.
Inside, Craig was alone, watching the security cameras. As soon as he saw 2 men cover their faces and grab what appeared to be an AR-15, Craig grabbed his shotgun, knowing he would have to defend himself.
But I was trying to make sure I hit what I was pointing at.
One of the men was shot in the arm. You can hear him screaming in the video.
I'm proud as hell of this man. I mean, I'm proud to call him my friend.
In this small Norco community, also referred to as Horsetown, residents say Craig did exactly what needed to be done.
Crime is kind of rampant right now, so it's exciting, actually, to see that people are actually standing up for themselves and able to have a gun and be able to fire back.
Usually they come in shooting, but we're going to say it like this. It was a turn. You understand? And maybe God is on his side.
For Craig, all this attention is a little overwhelming.
I didn't expect any of this. Number one, I try to keep a low profile. That's all blown. But I really appreciate the customer base.
After the shooting and the bad guys were long gone, Craig suffered a small heart attack.
They put some stents in. Hopefully I can hang around for a while.
He plans to continue working and says if his business were to be targeted again by armed robbers, he won't hesitate to shoot. Your message to the bad guys?
This isn't a good place to pick.
3 suspects have been arrested. The 1 man who was injured is still in the hospital and will be taken into custody once released. Reporting from Norco, I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
What a story. Much more coming up on the life of the legendary Vin Scully when we come back.
We've been doing this a long time. We've seen thousands of auto accident cases. Between the freeways and rush hour traffic, California's roads can be a dangerous place to drive. People get injured every day. In cases of serious injury, remember, your lawyer matters. Your lawyer matters to the insurance company. Your lawyer matters to the jury. And let's face it, your lawyer matters to the result. Choose the law firm with the reputation and experience to win your case. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
If you want to sell your house fast, Bye Bye House will immediately pay cash for your home. Any house, any condition. Bye Bye House takes the time, stress, and inconvenience out of selling a home. There's no obligation. We look at the house and make a cash offer on the spot. Plus, there are no agents or open houses, no fees or commissions, and no repairs needed. Even problem properties are no problem for Bye Bye House. Call or visit us online at buybuyhouse.com.
I was in a car accident, and I knew I needed to hire a good lawyer, so I called Larry H. Parker.
I took Carolina's case, but unfortunately, before it got to trial, she got involved in another accident.
It was terrible. My injuries from my second accident aggravated the injuries from my first.
The insurance companies, they were nasty. They tried to blame the injuries from the second accident against the first.
Mitchell got me way more than I expected from both accidents.
When we say we'll fight for you, we mean it.
Before you hire a personal injury lawyer, just ask them this. How many trials have they had in their lifetime? Our firm had more than 10 trials last month. And we could run this ad on TV forever, and that would still be true for every month. Here's the thing. Because the other side knows we'll take the fight all the way, we're able to settle hundreds of personal injury cases for fair compensation every single month. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
I'm Sweet James. Getting seriously injured in an accident can be a life-changing experience. At Sweet James Accident Attorneys, we help hundreds of clients get the medical care they need and recover millions of dollars for them each and every month. I chose to be a personal injury attorney to advocate for the injured. If you or someone you love has ever hurt in an accident, call us for a free consultation. Get the care you need and the justice you deserve.
You're watching the Fox 11 News at 10.
More on the beloved Vin Scully. We've been hearing from fans honoring his memory tonight.
He passed away today at the age of 94. Coco McAvoy is live on Vin Scully Avenue, where Dodger fans are gathering tonight. Coco.
That's right. We're here outside of Dodger Stadium, as you mentioned, on Vin Scully Avenue. And the crowd out here has really grown with people who are mourning the loss of Vin Scully. And I was just talking off camera with a fan of Vin Scully's here. His name is Jesse. He's a longtime Dodger fan, and we're going to chat with him. Thanks so much for talking to us. First, what's your reaction to hearing of the passing?
It's one of the most devastating reactions that I've ever gotten in the MLB. Voice of all MLB, to be honest. He's a legend here in LA. He's a legend all states. For him to do this for 80 years and counting, like, he's the top person in this whole industry and this whole company, and to him to actually have it here in LA, my pop showed me since he was a little kid, since I heard him in the radio, just in the little box. So for him to do it for many years and doing it here in Blue Heaven on Earth is just honestly showing our respects from here to LA to him, is that he's one of the top legends here in LA for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, everyone has a Vin Scully story, as you just shared, watching baseball with your dad. What do you think made him stand out so much, made him so special to everyone?
Him feeling like, honestly, like a grandpa to everybody here in LA, especially. He made you feel at home. He made you feel like yourself. He never made you feel like an outsider. He made you feel comfortable in the place that you were in at home. So anytime that you got to step in these gates, it's literally like a home. It's a home to you, you know? It's a home to your heart. It's a home to everybody, even our enemies, you know? Even our enemies, you know, he had respect for anybody. shout out to, you know, the Dodgers winning it off to the Giants tonight. This win is for sure. For Vin Scully, this is a win for sure for him, you know. So I hope this year we dedicate this whole season for him, you know, because I really want him to see that we're a capable team to make it very, very far this year for sure.
Absolutely, and you're one of the people who came out here immediately. Was that the first thing on your mind when you heard the news, was get right to Dodger Stadium?
Definitely. Just like a legend like Kobe, you know, same thing with him. It was a devastating news to anybody. If you guys could come out, you know, if you guys are Dodger fans, support, you know, him for doing such great times with us and making great memories to anybody that is a real true Dodger fan, you know. So it'd be an honor, it'll be a blessing to him to actually get everybody gathered here to, you know, just have a little get-together for him, because he wants to know for sure that we all here for him, you know. And he's always going to be here for us, no matter what. LA's going to believe him all the time, no matter what. So we're just going to keep it going for him.
Jesse, thank you so much for talking to us tonight. Obviously, as we just mentioned, a beloved fan here of the Dodgers, but also of Vin Scully. There's dozens of other people out here, as well as you can see, that are also mourning the loss. Like Jesse, people wanted to come here to Dodger Stadium immediately after hearing of the news, the loss of Vin Scully. And we're walking more here, taking a look at the Dodger sign. You can see that there's a beautiful memorial that has grown here with candles. There's a balloon. There's lots of Dodger memorabilia along with flowers, and there's more people that have been coming out here tonight as well to really show their love and appreciation here for Vin Scully. And as we're walking closer, we really want to show you this baseball that is inside of the V of Vin Scully Avenue, and it says LA loves Vin. And I think that that just truly couldn't ring more true, as you just heard Jesse talk about and other fans have been talking about out here as well tonight. Just the immense amount of love that people have for Vin Scully and the huge loss that LA is experiencing tonight. So we will keep talking to fans out here and keep you updated. Back to you.
Yeah, the rest of the season will be #win for Vin. Coco, thank you. Joe Davis is now the voice of the Dodgers after working with Vin during his final season with the team. In April, I spoke with Joe for our interview show, The Issue Is, and I asked him about Vin's impact on him. What did he teach you about broadcasting?
I think the big thing that he taught me was to be myself, and I'm sure you've had people tell you that too as you get going in this industry. And it sounds simple and it sounds easy, but I think the tendency for anybody is to try and be what the person before them was, and like you'd be stupid not to try and learn from the person before you. But it's a fine line between trying to be Vin and learning from Vin and taking things from Vin. And it's the same advice that Red Barber gave him when he started in 1950. Be yourself. Let yourself come through. Take ideas from other people, things that you like, things that you don't, but apply it to you and let yourself shine through. And I think especially in baseball, when that's every day, you're going to get exposed if you're not being yourself, because you're on TV for a long time, for a lot of days, every single day.
Yeah, and Vin did that by himself without a broadcast partner. Joe, now the voice of the Dodgers and the voice of baseball, will be the voice of the World Series coming up in the fall.
I feel like I'm getting life lessons for whoever we are, whatever we do.
Yeah, well, that's what we all got when we got to listen to Vin for all those hours, for all of those years.
But be yourself.
Yep.
That's important. All right, Vin Scully had another great love of his life. That was his wife, Sandra.
Laura Diaz is live in Studio City, and what a love story they had, Laura.
Oh, such a beautiful love story. And of course, we all know the brilliance of Vin as a broadcaster. We know he was an outstanding human being, but he was also a devoted family man. And so when his wife, Sandra, died last year, he took it very hard. At that time, I had the opportunity to speak to his very close friend, Jaime Jarin, about the love that existed between the Scullys.
I met Sandy when she was dating Vin many, many years ago. And she was always very, very protective of Vin, and vice versa. At Dodger Stadium, usually we had dinner, Vin, Rick Monday, Charles Steiner, and myself. And after dinner, Vin will excuse himself and say, I'm sorry, I have to call home. And he will always call Sunday before the game. And sometimes after the third inning, I will go out to the outside of the booth, and Vin will come out of the booth and to call Sandy. And I knew that he was calling Sandy because he was already smiling. And
almost like college sweethearts. They were so very close. I loved hearing that story from Jaime about the closeness that existed between the couple. So while we miss him, we know that really deep in his heart, as we mentioned at the top of this broadcast, that Mr. Scully was really ready to be reunited with his bride. I'm Laura Diaz reporting live from Studio City. Now back to you, Chris and Alex.
Laura, we know you're on assignment tonight. You are reporting, but we also should note you are a diehard Dodger fan yourself. You go to a lot of games each and every year. Just your personal thought as you heard this news.
Well, of course, like all of us, I felt very sad, but he lived a long, beautiful, productive life. He was a role model to so many people. And I want to point out that whether you lived on the east side or the west side, you felt that Vin Scully spoke expressly to you, that you mattered, that he was able to put the game in perspective, put it into words that maybe you just felt in your heart but didn't know how to express. And so while I felt sad, I felt that he had been a blessing in my life, and I am so glad that I was able to hear him call games and also to meet him on several occasions. I was so honored when Mr. Harin asked me to speak when he was honored, and that was the very first time that I met Vin. So I will carry these memories the rest of my life, but mostly just as a fan to know that he was able to be the soundtrack of our lives.
Well, and you bring up such a good point, Laura, which is at this time of so much political polarization, when everybody's in different tribes and people don't talk to each other and don't listen to each other, Vin Scully was one of the last people who was universally beloved by Republicans, Democrats, everybody in between, black, white, Asian, whatever. Everybody in Los Angeles loved Vin Scully, which is why everybody in Los Angeles is in mourning, but also celebrating a great life. Laura Diaz, thank you. We'll be back with more right after this.
I was in a car accident, and I knew I needed to hire a good lawyer, so I called Larry H. Parker.
I took Carolina's case, but unfortunately, before it got to trial, she got involved in another accident.
It was terrible. My injuries from my second accident aggravated the injuries from my first.
The insurance companies, they were nasty. They tried to blame the injuries from the second accident against the first.
Mitchell got me way more than I expected from both accidents.
When we say we'll fight for you, we mean it.
When a friend tells you they settled their injury claim for $50,000, you might think that was good. But what if another law firm wouldn't have taken less than $500,000? If someone sold a brand new Mercedes for $10,000, you'd know they got ripped off. Many people injured in accidents get ripped off every day by the insurance company and their own lawyer. Visit forthepeople.com to see our verdicts against the last offer that was made. Huge differences. There are many firms, but only one. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
If you want to sell your house fast, Buy Buy House will immediately pay cash for your home. Any house, any condition. Buy Buy House takes the time, stress, and inconvenience out of selling a home. There's no obligation. We look at the house and make a cash offer on the spot. Plus, there are no agents or open houses, no fees or commissions, and no repairs needed. Even problem properties are no problem for Buy Buy House. Call or visit us online at buybuyhouse.com.
We've been doing this a long time. We've seen thousands of auto accident cases. Between the freeways and rush hour traffic, California's roads can be a dangerous place to drive. People get injured every day. In cases of serious injury, remember, your lawyer matters. Your lawyer matters to the insurance company. Your lawyer matters to the jury. And let's face it, your lawyer matters to the result. Choose the law firm with the reputation and experience to win your case. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
Prepare for success this school year
with furniture and accessories from Jerome's.
Function and style at Jerry's price? That's an easy A.
Like our Ridley Loft storage bed with a pull-out desk in your choice of 2 colors for only $7.98.
Or add fun and adventure with our Adirondack cabin-style bunk bed for just $6.98.
And get our stylish Crosby Queen bed for an incredible $4.98.
Shop these great values and more in stock and ready to deliver right away.
Only at Jerome's.
Alex?
Yes.
Shakey's Pizza?
Yes.
Make new friends with Get Shakey's Pizza and Mojo's for 2, now just $19.99. Do dinner better. Shakey's together.
Fox 11 Weather is sponsored by U.S. Bank.
And Rick Dickert is off. Meteorologist Erica Martin is in. It's kind of humid out there, Erica.
Oh, yeah, it's muggy. It's soupy tonight, Christine and Alex, and that's going to be the story for the next several days. Unfortunately, it's going to get hot, and then it'll cool down. Let's get started with our current relative humidity. So just how muggy is it? It's at 93% for Oxnard, Camarillo, 85%. You remember the days or those hours when we were at like 80% in Oxnard? That was just a few hours ago. Now we're at 93%. So it's definitely very muggy out there. A lot of it having to do with that monsoonal influence, but also due to what's happening in the tropics. There's a new tropical system developing across Central America, and it's going to head right up the Pacific. And yeah, we will certainly feel remnants of it in the form of moisture. 75% relative humidity in Irvine, 77 for Long Beach. These are really impressive numbers considering the time and just considering that it wasn't raining today. So just keep this in mind. I think you'll appreciate the drier conditions tomorrow, but then again, muggier by Thursday and Friday. Overnight lows a lot more comfortable. 65 for Santa Monica, 66 for Los Angeles, upper 60s for Long Beach. We are seeing 70s for Burbank, 77 for Lancaster. So comfortable, but still muggy out there. So something you'll have to deal with. Riverside at 68 and Big Bear 51 is your expected overnight lows. Satellite and radar loops has a lot right now, including the fact that we do have this beach hazard. This statement has been issued by the National Weather Service. It's been the case since Sunday, and I want to show you a wider perspective here. Here is why. We have this guy out here, post-tropical system, Frank, continuing to move up the eastern Pacific. Remember, I told you it would go north and then northeast. That's still the story there. So those beach hazards continue through tomorrow. And air quality right now, okay and decent up and along the coast. Not going to be the case for tomorrow. Farther inland, you can see here some orange dots telling us we have unhealthy conditions for sensitive groups. And of course, farther north, we cannot forget that we have this wildfire burning. It looks like we could see a couple of showers for those guys farther north. Hopefully we do, to just feel a lot more comfortable. On to Kyle and sports.
Erica, thanks very much. We continue to remember Vin Scully, who has passed away at the age of 94. The Dodgers are in San Francisco. They're playing the Giants. We will hear from them next in sports.
We've been doing this a long time. We've seen thousands of auto accident cases. Between the freeways and rush hour traffic, California's roads can be a dangerous place to drive. People get injured every day. In cases of serious injury, remember, your lawyer matters. Your lawyer matters to the insurance company. Your lawyer matters to the jury. And let's face it, your lawyer matters to the result. Choose the law firm with the reputation and experience to win your case. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
Introducing Smart Life. Jerome's Smart Life mattress with 80 smart cells and 8 independent zones continually adjust to your body's movement as you sleep.
Fine-tuned support which adjusts to an individual or a couple.
Compare our Smart Life to the Sleep Number i10. Theirs only has 2 adjustable air bladders.
And Jerry's price is $1,000 less than the regular price.
Experience Smart Life with over 80 smart cells that adjust to you and get our 60-month special financing.
Only at Jerome's.
I'm Doug Hopkins with SellersAdvantage.com, and I want to buy your house. I'll make you an as-is cash offer on your house within 24 hours. Whether it's a total fixer-upper or in perfect condition, SellersAdvantage.com is the easiest way to sell your house. When you sell your house to SellersAdvantage.com, there's no fees, no commissions, no banks, and no repairs. Just go to SellersAdvantage.com for a free, no-obligation cash offer 24 hours a day. That's SellersAdvantage.com. One of the questions I'm often asked is, what's my case worth? Of course, that depends on your injuries. But if you'd like to get an idea, go to forthepeople.com and look at our recent verdicts in court. You'll see accidents and injuries just like yours. We try more accident cases to verdict than any firm in America, and it allows us to settle early because the insurance industry knows about our reputation and results. Numbers don't lie. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. forthepeople.com.
Alex?
Yes.
Shakey's Pizza?
Yes.
Make new friends. Get Shakey's Pizza and Mojo's for two, now just $19.99. Do dinner better. Shakey's together.
Are you looking for loans?
Yeah.
Did you use Credible?
No. Why?
Oh, hi. You know, you should really use Credible.com. It's a better way to find great loan rates.
Thanks. Did you run all the way here to tell us that?
Yeah, I'm the Credible.
Incredible.
Love that guy.
When you're looking for loans, it's either credible or it's not.
182.
Say it again.
182.
182.
Certainly one big story in the sports world tonight. Kyle Kraska here with more on that.
That is correct, Alex. You know, I'm thinking about the last time I spoke with the great Vin Scully, and right to the end, he was as eloquent and poetic as ever. And we are remembering the man who passed away at the age of 94 today. Within the hour, I spoke with Dodger legend Steve Garvey about Vin's passing.
It wasn't a shock. It was almost a moment of reflection. Of all the years, and you and I have talked, and I have this wonderful story of growing up as a bat boy in spring training in Florida, the Brooklyn team, and being around it for 6 or 7 years, and remembering the guys in uniform. It's easy, Campanella, Snyder, Robinson, and all them. But the first person I actually was impressed with was Vin. He was so well dressed, and he had a jacket on and slacks and these loafers and that red hair and that voice. Then I found out he was the announcer. Wow, the Dodger announcer. And then signing in '68, you know, that story got out that I was that little kid with a flat top in spring training, and now I was a Dodger. And he was always very kind to me, you know. And he was your best friend. He was your brother. He was your father. He was your grandfather.
He was all of the above. The news was announced at 8:17 tonight during the Dodgers-Giants broadcast. And obviously, it was said to a stunned audience. As for the game, the Dodgers were up 6-5. They broke it open in the 8th inning. After a Gavin Lux triple, Austin Barnes here sends one to the gap. That'll make it a 7-5 ball game as Barnes slides in there with a double. And then Cody Bellinger gets up, sends another one to the gap, and that'll be another triple. So triple, double, triple for the Dodgers. Barnes scores, and it's an 8-5 ball game. And then moments later, Mookie Betts. He will send one down the line. Belly will score to make it 9-5. The Dodgers go on to win by that final score. And afterwards, of course, it was all about Vin.
I just found out about it in the middle of the game. And it's, you know, I think he was 94 years old. He lived, obviously, a tremendous life. He impacted so many, myself included.
The track record and the length of his career is unbelievable, and his voice never changed. You know, his voice never changed. You know, it's time for Dodger baseball. The good evenings, all the stuff. It just will always resonate with me. It was a really special thing to be able to have him around, and you know, we'll miss him for sure.
I think of the melodic tones. I think of his integrity. I think of him being as a role model. People are saying a soundtrack, but I would say the voice from our highlight film of life. But so much more than what he was describing on the field when you are a Dodger.
The Dodgers will continue their series with the Giants tomorrow. Ironically, when he was a kid in New York, Vin Scully was a fan of the Giants, and he called his final game for the Dodgers in San Francisco, where there's a plaque commemorating that occasion. And tonight we learn of his passing as the Dodgers again played in San Francisco.
Can you imagine being in the stands and hearing that news? Oh, the shock that you would feel.
I cannot imagine that at all.
Well, and for the broadcasters and Joe Davis and everybody to have to announce that in the middle of a baseball game, have to continue on with the baseball game too.
I think everyone takes a step back from this because, as we've discovered tonight, and we knew this all along, we all have a story about how Vin Scully was a part of our lives, whether you knew him personally or you knew him through his voice on a broadcast, whether it be television or be radio, because as he said when he retired in 2016, he said his style was one of having a running commentary with an imaginary friend. And we were all
his friend for all those years.
Well, we had a really great moment here. You know, we're still in COVID times, but when baseball returned to the mound after the pandemic shut down 2 years ago, Fox 11 reached out to Vin Scully to narrate a special essay about its return.
And we're proud to say that this essay actually won an Emmy, in large part because it was voiced by Vin Scully, of course. And we thought it was fitting to hear it again one more time tonight. Here is Vin Scully with an essay we called Home.
On this hallowed field of green, childhood dreams are born as they go rounding the bases, heading for home. It's been that way for ages until a very different path this year. 90 feet. It never felt so far. But here we finally are. Dirt on the ball cap, a worn hickory stick in hand. Here comes the pitch, taking a swing into history. It's gone! Still, we remember the heroes, first responders all. Our debt of gratitude, we stand and salute you. Boy, don't we need this now. Childhood dreams born again. It's time to play ball. We finally made it home.
Thanks to Vin for doing that for us as well.
So nice to hear that voice. You know, I'm going to refer back to my program from the MLB All-Star Game. And, you know, if you can pick one or two quotes of Vin Scully, here's what they picked for this. It's a wonderful feeling to be a bridge to the past and to unite generations. The sport of baseball does that, and I am just a part of it. That's from Vin Scully, and it's just so beautiful. I mean, how many things that you could pick to quote from him?
And I think of all these iconic moments, again, if you're a sports fan especially, and you remember these moments in time, they are not the same moment without the voice of Vin Scully narrating. And you think about the Kirk Gibson home run, one of the most famous home runs ever, and as he said, in a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. And it's that poetic addition to the moment that made the moment even grander, if possible, than it actually was.
And he also knew what a lot of great broadcasters know, which is when to step back and let the moment be the star, which was he did during that moment as well. That left so much cheers. But the greatest storyteller probably that we've ever seen on TV and on radio. That's what made him so great. That's what made him so captivating. And ultimately, you didn't really have to be a baseball fan to like good stories. Good stories have gone back to the cavemen. You know, it's at the heart of who we are as humans. And Vin Scully was the greatest at that.
You know, I think, too, what a blessing to have a career like that, where you're just talking about good and joy and summer.
He didn't have to tell the bad breaking news that we had to do. Right? He just got to say the nice stuff.